This edition of Hold Your Applause, the podcast, is brought to you by Juggernaut Cookie Company. Enjoy the best tasting gluten-free protein cookie you've ever had. With 12 grams of protein, it's gluten-free and made with kosher and non-GMO ingredients. And if you use promo code CookiePro20, you'll save 20% on your entire order. Visit www.cookiehunk.com to order today. We are also brought to you by Reba's Rescue and Reba's Animal Rescue, located in Chesapeake. They make it their business to rescue dogs and cats. So if you need a furry friend, need a playmate at home, or need a foster, they are your hookup. You can check out their website at www.rebasrescue.com. And lastly, we are brought to you by Vault Athletic and Fitness, located in the Alaskan area of Virginia Beach, focusing on lacrosse and field hockey for young girls and boys. Everything from high school to collegiate students, collegiate athletes. They will help you hone your skills, increase fitness and conditioning, and get you ready for the field. You can check them out at vaultfitnessandathletics.com. Welcome to another edition of Hold Your Applause podcast. We are your hosts. I am Antoine Britt, and today I am super excited because I have a special, this is the most important guest we've ever had on the show, on any show I've ever done. Her accolades just speak for themselves. She's the jack of all, master of most. I'd like to introduce you to my lovely wife, Jamie Britt. What's up, baby? How you doing?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, she over there looking good. Got ready. She got ready. Quick turnaround today. She got off of work at 4:30. Got home at 5, and we are here at 5:30 to record. So she was blazing at the house today.
I'm ready for the hot goss.
Yeah, you ready for the hot goss?
That's right.
Yeah, she's definitely. So we came on board with this whole 90-day fiance journey together. She does not let me watch unless she's watching. She get real mad.
It's very serious.
She get real mad when I watch an episode without her. It's like borderline breakup stuff when I watch without her. But she's been patient with me, and I've been patient with her, and that's what relationships all about,
That's
right, babe? So she is going to help me in Brittany's absence. She's going to help me dissect this what I thought was the last episode of the 90-Day Fiancé Single Life Tell-All. I found out yesterday that it was 4 episodes. So they're really stretching this thing out. They are like, man, they are trying to get as much out of this and milk this thing as much as they can. So we laid on the couch and we watched it, and we're going to tell you what we think.
That's
all right,
right.
babe?
I'm ready.
So we're going to start off, hopefully you all know, based on you watching it and you're listening to our podcast, which we hit 5,000 downloads. Thank you very much for the downloads, y'all. We appreciate it. Please keep liking and subscribing on YouTube. What else are we on? iHeartRadio, Amazon, Spotify. What else? One more. Apple Podcasts. Yes, we're on all of those. Or wherever you get your podcast, just go and download and listen to our bullshit. So again, if you have been watching this show, or you have been listening to us, you know that between Britt and I, we have very, very contrasting views on how these couples interact and the way they kind of handle themselves. So I'm gonna see if me and Jamie have different views.
I think we might have some different views.
I think we might. It's gonna make for a great show. All right. So starting off, we are going to start off with Natalie and Josh. All right. So
Natalie and Josh,
man. So Natalie and Josh.
Where to begin?
Yeah,
it's a lot to unpack.
They are, so I think what I got mostly from last night's episode with Natalie and Josh is that Josh is really a good guy trying to do the right thing. This is what I got. And I think Natalie puts herself in a position to where she, I hate to say, puts herself in kind of like the victim role, but she does put herself in a position where she needs his help, or at least gives the illusion that she needs his help a lot. And it comes across like a lot of, a couple people on the cast mentioned the whole like sugar daddy thing, and it definitely comes across as if he's acting as her sugar daddy. What do you think of that?
I think it's hard. You don't know what the conversations are that they've had in private. But I agree. I think she puts herself in that situation. And I think Josh is saying what we're all thinking, just relax. Just relax. You're going overboard. And she just kind of flies off the handlebar really quickly. She said, Tim, are you normal? Why would you say that to me?
Normal.
But, you
What
know,
did Tim
it's
say?
her
Tim
interpretation. You're sleeping with him and he's paying you.
Which is the long and short of it. But
yeah,
I think so it's hard for me to sympathize with Natalie because I feel like she does put herself in a position where she wants to need him and wants to put him in a position where he has to interact with her.
Yeah. And
so inevitably when they get together, they go on dates, they end up sleeping together. She's going to view that he might view it as, okay, we had a past relationship. This is a comfortable space for us. We're going to have dinner, we're going to sleep together, and then everything is going to be the same when we wake up. I think she's kind of using it as like a power play to kind of maybe get what she wants out of him, trying to get him, maybe back in bed or get him back into what she wants a relationship to look like with him. That's kind of what I'm getting from that situation. I do think it's kind of fucked up that like when he goes on these tell-all, because this is the second time he's been on, and every time he goes on, he just gets beat to shit by the rest of the cast because she does make him out to look like a bad guy. And I'm not saying that it's not a mutually beneficial relationship, but right?
Well, I think that he comes on the show and the rest of the cast hypes her up, right? They really beat on him. But before that, she's thinking like, oh, we have something good going on and eventually he'll date me. And the rest of them are saying, open your eyes, Yeah. And so then she thinks, you're right, open my eyes. And then, it kind of becomes this huge blown up thing that it wasn't before. I think Josh is a nice guy and I think he wants to date her. So he continues to stay around her. But he just wants her to relax. He just wants her to hear him when he speaks and understand the situation, but she won't. She keeps putting that pressure on him, so he keeps his distance, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't even know if she knows what it means to be
casual.
Yeah, in a casual relationship. Yeah. I just think it's like, but we saw
you
that
kiss
with
me,
Michael
why won't
too.
you have my babies?
Yeah, there's no in between for that chick, man. There's no in between, so. I think it's going to end up getting ugly because and we saw how the tell-all ended last night. They were kind of in the back sitting on the couch and they were talking.
But you saw they sat together and he kind of calmed her down. So when she gets out of that groove and she listens, it's a different story. That's why I say you don't ever know what those conversations are one-on-one.
Yeah.
So what is he telling her and what is she actually saying to him? Like, oh, it's okay. We don't need to date. I just, I appreciate where we are. You never know.
Yeah, no, I think he actually did a really good job of kind of like talking her off the ledge because she was wilding and you couldn't understand shit she was saying.
The crocodile tears.
Yeah, it was like she like you poke. That's the only thing I understood when she was talking. But yeah, obviously she was upset and when he has or anybody in any relationship. If you have friends on the outside looking in, when they see that there's somebody that comes into your life that's taking advantage of your kindness in whatever form it comes in, be it money, it be spiritual, mental, emotional, those people are going to start to, advocate for you.
Sure.
And then when they do that, then a lot of times they look like assholes because everybody doesn't view what you're doing as virtuous or good. Like some people, like the cast last night, thought that he's kind of taking advantage of the fact that she needs him. She still needs him in some capacity. But I'm of the thinking that does she really need him? Does she? When the car broke down, that was a scenario. It had a scenario where she had a car accident or her car broke down. So he was the first person that she called, right? Do you have to call him? I mean, if you really want to be independent and figure it out for yourself, then you don't call the person that, you were dependent upon.
Well, she wants to be dependent on him so that he'll stick around. So, I mean, it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that she wants to be in a position to where her being dependent on him manifest itself into some sort of relationship with him.
Yes, I do.
Man, oh no.
I think she knows exactly what she's doing. Don't you think?
I do. I think she knows what she's doing. I also think that it's going to end up biting her in the ass, because inevitably he's going to meet somebody else on the cast and he's going to start dating someone else, which is going to bring us to a point that we're going to focus on later that really, like, man, they ended that episode of Tell All awesome, because that shit threw me for a loop. But we'll get to that. All right, so Tyree.
Sweet Tyree.
Sweet Tyree. Tyree, now, if you tuned into last week's episode, we were talking about Tyree and how, I'm the biggest Tyree supporter, but I do understand how Tyree's insecurity issues can hinder him from having basically, and it doesn't have to be a sexual relationship, but any type of significant romantic relationship. So, but evidently my man Tyree's been talking to some chick.
Game.
Yeah, he been talking to
Shannon.
a girl. Yeah, so we had Shannon. Shannon came on set last night, and she
got a little smooch.
Yeah, man, his first kiss
and his second.
Do you believe that? You believe his first kiss?
Yes.
I don't know if I believe the whole kiss. I do believe he's a virgin, but I think he might be playing up the first kiss thing.
I think he's kissed a lot of cheeks. He's got a lot of those side swipe. He goes in for it. She bobs and weaves.
Yeah. That's the easiest way to, if you're a female, to get pushed on the ground real quick. If I'm trying to kiss you and you turn your
girl on the ground
real quick. Nah. I mean, a little nudge, a little
just
elbow.
A little elbow.
Elbow action. Nah, but they did. They were a cute couple.
She seemed into him.
She seemed, but he's on TV. 15 minutes of fame.
Let's not judge Shannon before we know Shannon.
I know. I'm terrible at that. But you got to play devil's advocate with this stuff, man. There's a 50-50 split always with any couple that comes on here that they're just on it for the fame and the monetary benefit of it, because I don't know how true it is, but I heard somewhere between $1,500 to $2,500 per episode, and then they get money for the tell-all, about the same for the tell-all. But then if you're one of these couples that's been up there for years, like a Jasmine and Gino or Big Ed and Liz, they're probably making upwards of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 per episode. They've been on there for fucking years.
I don't know. Big Ed is doing a lot of cameo
is Big
supplementation for his income.
Is that what Big Ed's doing?
They all
cameo?
do it.
Man, I could not imagine getting a cameo from Big Ed. Hey, Antoine, happy birthday.
Well, guess what's coming for your birthday?
Don't you dare. Yeah, but no, it was cool, and she seemed to be into him. She was a big girl too, which I don't know if that even matters in this situation, but you want to give.
Well, that seems like the body type that he likes anyway, which is great. So, he has an attraction to her.
Man, Tyree attracted to that cucumber right there. Tyree's attracted to that shit. Tyree is attracted to anybody that would give him attention.
All right.
Plain and simple. Which is, if you're in a situation with, you've never had sex before, you've had very, very limited romantic physical contact with anybody, hell yeah, I'm gonna be into it too. You don't need that leg, girl. You don't need that.
No leg.
Just weighing you down.
Well, either way, I think, having her come on the show is a confidence boost for him, if nothing else. Don't you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Which he was missing. So.
Yep, that's what he needs the most.
Yeah.
Is a confident boost. Somebody's gonna because we love that. People in general love that, but men love someone that's telling them how dope they are as often as possible, even if they don't admit it. And even the most confident man loves the affirmation is universally appreciated. So we'll see what happens. Bare minimum, we're gonna get another season of 90 day, either before the 90 days or
we have to close the loop.
Yeah,
I need to know more.
We need to know what happens.
I need to know if
Tyree.
Tyree dates Shannon.
You know what I want for Tyree? I want Tyree to get in the gym and just lose I want Tyree to go on My 600-Pound Life.
Oh my God.
And just lose.
Another favorite
Hell
in our
yeah.
house.
Hell yeah. We love that one too.
Didn't he go to the gym for a day? What happened to that?
Nothing happened. It was a day.
Free trial.
The
10 out of 10 would not recommend.
Yeah. He was like, production team was like, you know what I think would be cool, Tyree, if we got
box jumps.
a workout montage with you. He was like, okay. And then after that, he was like, I'm never fucking doing that again.
It's not for me, dog.
my asthma don't work like that. We'll see what happens with Tyree. I wish Tyree the best. I hope he does this thing. And that takes us to, let me see. We forgot to mention Tyree. Did we mention her name was Shannon?
Shannon.
Okay. And she actually met him down in New Orleans.
Yep.
He met 3 girls evidently
girls
down
in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's a city for him.
I mean, I feel like his batting averages are like mad low. You met 3 girls and you only got, some physical attention from one of them. And that was like, 9 months later?
Maybe he's being picky, Maybe he's got choices.
Yeah. Maybe he does.
You don't know.
Maybe he does.
Maybe they're just putting it on like that for
My
us.
boy Tyree. You go get your shit, Tyree. I want Tyree to just like slay, like just.
That's right.
Just run through Minnesota. Just have a good time.
Sister Wives. That's his next show. There you go.
Tyree, can you imagine Tyree
Seeking Sister Wives.
Oh man, I'm gotten into that show yet. That shit seemed like even too crazy for us.
I'm just not interested.
That's only so good that we can feel about ourselves. I feel like that will make us feel way too good about ourselves. Seeking Sister Wives. The next on the list is John and Megan.
John and Megan.
Now, I like John. John is just I got
a lot of mixed feelings about them.
I feel like John is the guy at work that is a great work buddy, but you would not want to hang out with him in any other capacity. But if you saw him at a bar or something like that, you'd be like, "Oh shit, that's my buddy John from work."
That's right.
And you would have drinks
Always
with him.
Down for a good time.
Have a great time.
But he goes a little too far.
My man John
doesn't know when to leave the house.
8 o'clock, 8 a.m. getting a beer, butt heavy at 8 a.m. My man.
What'd she say? Crazy people do that?
Yeah, Ty is like crazy people.
That's for crazy people.
Yeah, she would be right. But we all got a little crazy in us. I've done it. I know you've done it.
Guilty.
We can't judge.
Guilty.
We can't judge on that. But so he moved. They were in Vegas. He picked up everything and moved to Texas, right? Megan lived in Texas, I believe. I think it's Texas.
Maybe.
I
think so.
She has. It was like quick. It was like within a matter of months.
It was, I think, maybe 5 months.
Yeah. From the time they started
talking. She
talking.
told him her expectations, and he said, "I'm not going to do that," and he did it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. His options are limited, which is a huge red flag for me. Like if I have any, and this can be man or woman, especially if a woman or a man wants this out of a female, but it's a huge red flag when a potential love interest wants you to move so quickly, right? They want you to move. And I get wanting to date and be physical quickly. I kind of get that. But when they want you to like move in like yesterday, that's a red flag.
I understand her wanting him to move quickly, but there was no understanding of his timeline. You can want somebody to move in quickly, but is it realistic? Does it make sense for both of your schedules, for work, for her child? Does that really make sense to have him move in so quickly? Right. I don't know. I don't have children, so I can't say what I would do. But that did feel really quick to me, and it felt like there was no flexibility on her side. This is what we're doing, and if you don't want to get on board, I'll find somebody else that will. And that would make me feel disposable. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So just the next guy, the next willing person to move in is who you're going to marry.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head with just feeling like you're disposable, feeling you're just like
a number.
You're the cog in that spot for that time,
right.
So yeah. But it seemed to be working out so far. They seem happy on the tell-all. Evidently there's some jealousy and territory issues, which may be part of the reason why she wanted him to move in so quickly. It's like, you're my property. I want you to be here with me as quickly as possible.
Well, she tracks his phone, right? So
oh man,
how will I know where you are if you're in a different city that I'm not familiar with?
Yeah, dude.
You could be anywhere.
Yeah, you could be. Yeah.
How do I know you're at work? I don't even know the area.
Yeah, but I mean, you can always think like that, and John actually brought that up last night. He was like, I don't think like that because I don't think like that. Like, if I'm not doing those things, I don't want to track your phone. I don't want to, like, because I don't think like that. And so it's the furthest thing away from my mind. Like, y'all out there, when y'all like tracking each other's phones and you're pinging each other's locations and all that bullshit, y'all got to stop that shit, because while it might give you a temporary sense of comfort knowing they're at the fucking Dollar Tree up the street, like, you can't continue to question somebody's loyalty over and over again and expect to get a good result. It just doesn't happen, because people don't like to believe that they're under scrutiny all the fucking time. It's just not healthy. So, like, if you're not the type of person who can trust that their husband or boyfriend or wife or girlfriend are going to work when they say they are and coming home when they say they are, or if you care that they go and have a beer with the boys after work, or you care that, she's going to brunch on Sunday with the girls, then you probably don't need to be in a relationship with that person. So.
I think there's two types of people that feel that way, right? You've either been through it and you've been screwed over in the past. So now you're jaded, and now every partner has to suffer for that in the future. Or you're projecting. So you might be doing something yourself that you're insecure about because you know it's wrong. So now you project that onto your partner, which both are wrong to me. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about jealousy issues and stuff all throughout this podcast, I'm sure. But this one, I think she's projecting.
Yeah, I see that.
There's something about her. I think she's projecting it onto him. I don't know.
You think she's been hurt?
But that's what it is. He doesn't think that way. He doesn't let it bother him. If it's happened to him in the past, he doesn't let it bother him. And that's great. He doesn't bring it into his new relationship. But when you bring it in, it's just so toxic. There is something so freeing about being in a relationship where you don't care if they go out for drinks, like you said, with the boys after work. You don't care if they do this or that with whoever, because at the end of the day, you trust them.
Yeah, and it is. You're right. That is a very freeing feeling, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that. I'm of the mind that it's more of, because even though you've been in a past relationship that took you through that, somebody was unfaithful and you're jaded now, I still don't think that you take that into the next relationship completely. You might have reservations, sure, because it happened to you before, but does someone doing that to you change your entire character? Because I feel like that's a major character shift for you to go to somebody who's totally confident to someone who's like questions every move that their significant other makes. So.
I think it's natural to take some things into your relationships, but I agree. If you take all of that in there, that's a pretty wild shift. That person had to have already made you feel like they were untrustworthy before you even got in the relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, or it was something that was just ongoing, and you just let it slide. You let it slide over and over again until it got to the point like you had to leave. You had to leave. It was like a life or death situation at that point. And I've seen situations like that too, where like this, you're in a relationship and they just shit on you, and you forgive and you keep forgiving, but every time you forgive, it just takes a little something away from you, right? Until you get to the point where there's like forgiveness is a moot point. Like me forgiving you is like, why does it even matter at that point? This is just something you're going to continue to do. And then I have to make the decision for myself whether I'm going to keep quote unquote forgiving or I'm going to, peace out and leave the relationship. So,
well, the forgiveness is not for really the other person, although they're saying, please forgive me, I need to hear that from you. It's really not for them. It's for you to get peace of mind. So they're really saying it, I forgive you for no reason at that point, because they're not getting peace of mind. They're just saying the words, right?
Yeah. True. Man. So, and you brought up that, Megan does have a child. And she's on a spectrum. I think so. I think she's low functioning on it.
Nonverbal.
Okay, so that's a challenge in itself, and for us to pretend that as someone coming into a relationship with a parent that has a child that's on the spectrum, that is not a challenge. That's naive. No matter how open to it we are, it's going to be a challenge. And again, he seems like he's handling it well. He seems like he interacts with the little girl pretty well. So
like River is her name.
Is it River? Okay,
River,
so so. We'll see.
It sounds like it's going well. I will say.
Don't name your kids River, y'all.
I will. Well, he says River. River.
River, yeah.
Which kind of makes it sound cool. I don't know. I will say though, Patrick is a hater.
Patrick is a hater.
Brother is a hater.
Yeah, Patrick, if you haven't been listening, Patrick is the brother.
Patrick and Thais.
Yeah, that's her. That's John's brother, and Thais is sister-in-law. Is married, and he met Thais. She's from Brazil. They were on a previous episode of 98 Fiancé. They got married. Did the whole thing.
John used to live with them.
John lived with them,
drinking 8 a.m. beers.
They seem like they're pretty close as brothers, even though they're half brothers.
They work together, though. They spend a lot of time together.
Okay, so
he works for his company.
They seem like they seem like they actually grew up close. The way that they interact and talk about their childhood, it seemed like they were close growing up. But Patrick came on the show last night, and he fucked my man up real bad.
I don't regret it. I don't regret saying anything.
He was there. I mean,
I'll tell her more.
And he just harped on the fact that he didn't think that, he said he doesn't want kids. I don't think he'll be a good father. He said a child that hurt himself. And it was something it was almost like he wanted this relationship not to work.
Yeah. Did he want to be, the only one that has a successful relationship from this? I don't know, but something's a little shady there. In my opinion, if my sibling says, I never want kids, and then they get into a relationship, my sister, she doesn't necessarily want kids of her own, but she's dating a guy with a kid, and she's open to it. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that, and
wrong with changing your mind.
You have every right to change your mind. Or you think you don't want kids, you have a kid now in your life, and you're like, oh, what was I missing? This is crazy. This is unbelievable. So it's just up to you, and for him to not listen to his brother's wants or whatever makes him happy is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's for TV. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe. I feel like as maybe he feels like as the brother, he's almost like protecting Megan from what is going to inevitably go wrong and the relationship's not going to work out. Maybe he feels like that's what he's doing. And maybe he feels like he just knows his brother so well that he knows that this is not gonna work out.
But do you know your brother better than your brother knows himself? I don't know.
maybe
that's. It's very possible.
A lot of times we are blind to our own faults, right? And so we might have the best intentions across the board, but some people aren't capable of certain things, and maybe he's being naive about what he's capable of in this relationship. Or like you said, it could be Patrick just being a hater and just he hasn't, because he's been with him day in and day out for 30-something years, maybe he hasn't noticed that he has changed, and he is changing. Or maybe it takes the right woman for somebody to change too. Maybe is that too. So
I was just going to bring that up, that he hasn't really been living with him for how long has he been there? A couple months, so almost a year. I don't know, half a year. So a lot can change in that time. He can shift his perspective, his responsibilities. He's got people to care for now, and he's doing it. I think 6 months or so is a really long time to keep up a facade, in my opinion.
Yeah.
One that big, so
late puberty. Late puberty for John.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Better
I
late
wish
than
them the
never.
base. It seems like they're obviously going to be on the next season of 90 Day Fiancé for sure.
And then they left us with that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Did he or didn't he?
Yeah. On the episode,
he had his butt crack hanging out.
He did. He had the plumber ass crack. Yeah, he looked like he was going to get down on a knee and propose. Of course, they left us hanging until the next episode.
Maybe he was just tying her shoes. I don't know.
If I was her, I'd beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
For real.
That's more than the elbow. That's the full push down.
Whoop his ass for real, man. So we'll see. The timeline, she was like, you got a year. What she say, a year and a half?
She said ideally But is that a year and a half from now, or is that a year and a half since they started dating?
I think it was from where they started dating, because she was just speaking about it in
So it's
like the
coming up.
present tense.
So it's coming up.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Although she did switch her mind about kids. She's okay without another kid now. So maybe she is, amenable to change.
yeah. I hope so. We'll see. But just do it for the right reasons. That's my biggest
For
thing.
sure.
Never get married just because it's Thursday. Man, next on the list, this is one I've been waiting for, because I know that me and my wife feel differently about this broad. Chantel.
I got a lot of feelings about Chantel.
So Chantel is on because her, and if you haven't been keeping up again, her and Pedro, her husband from Dominican Republic of 7 years, got divorced. And listen, like, her family, they're the craziest motherfuckers I've ever met. I would never want to be married into a family like that. They seem
I want to know if they're really
batshit
like
crazy.
that in real life, or if it's like, they're putting on a little act every time. The mom kind of gives me a weird vibe.
oh man, yeah, the mom.
It's always very like showboating, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe her. There's something about her.
So I think,
But Chantel has it too.
yeah, for sure. Even
So maybe
if
it's
they're
genetic. Maybe it's real.
well, even if they're playing it up, I feel like when the majority of these people on the show play it up at least a little bit, right?
Sure.
And so, but I think it's just an amplification of your true personality.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're just cranking it up a
It
little
would be
bit.
hard to fake that for that long.
They've been on the show for years.
And that well.
For years. And she is just crazy. So Chantel goes to she went to Greece. She went to Greece. She met a couple guys. One of them she likes
For
very,
like a
very much
divorce.
so. Divorce party, which is dumb as fuck
Whatever.
in itself. You got to go to Greece.
I mean,
like,
you've been divorced for a while.
yeah, I mean, this is so crazy. Like this whole divorce thing, that and the whole penises at the bachelorette party. I don't.
I know
get
you're
it.
not a fan.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, whatever. Yeah, it's so stupid. It's like, all right, we know you're going to be married to somebody who has one of these.
I just want y'all to know.
Let's get some straws
Just in
made.
case you didn't know.
So she goes to Greece. She meets a couple guys, but one she very likes in particular that she really likes. What was his name?
Oh, gosh.
And
It'll come to me.
Seems like he's a professional football player, and seems like he's a nice guy and is at least into her at least a little bit.
Yeah. He invited her back to his hometown, right? So that she could enjoy that snail festival.
Yeah, yeah. Which she
did not enjoy.
She did
by
not
the way.
enjoy it, man. And so, ladies, let me ask you this question, and babe, you can answer this question too. If you're in a situation to where you're meeting someone who has a total cultural difference from you, right, and they take you to something that is like a part of their culture, that is synonymous with them as a person, right? Even though it doesn't vibe with you, how do you conduct yourself? How do you, I mean, obviously you respect it enough, to say, okay, not to be rude, right?
Well, I think my first step is ask questions beforehand. What is this festival about? Is there anything I need to know?
Yeah.
Should I dress a certain way? Is there like surprises that, I should just be ready for? Is it all about snails? Oh, I hate snails. I don't really want to come to that.
That's the first
Or
question
is there
I would
anything
ask.
else to eat?
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure they had other shit to eat.
but I think you respect it. It's not your culture. And you would expect the same from them if they came to your hometown and then they sat there and like, oh, pork, and just went off the rails about this barbecue festival that you took them to, and you're like, this is my my culture or whatever, and we're totally disrespectful. So I think you grin and bear it, and you try your best to have a good time.
Yeah, well,
But you ask questions too. She just sat there in a funk.
Yeah.
That he wasn't, all over her, but it is, that is what it is.
She came out there and showed her ass for real, and she was just like super upset that he wasn't focusing all his attention on her. And, it's just like she's dangerous in a relationship, because I feel like she's one of those people that wants what she wants right now and doesn't realize because she wanted it so bad and she wanted it to be her way, she realized later on that she really didn't like that guy that much. And now at that point, you become invested. And now it's like, well, I wasn't into you that much. It's not going to work out. And now you're realizing you should have stuck to your initial, your thought process, your initial feeling, and taking it slow. But I think she's just kind of out there, you know. Like,
I think her expectations are so high, right? Why aren't you giving me all of your attention? Why aren't you coming to sweep me off my feet? I don't feel the passion that I felt yesterday. Like, can I not be tired?
Yeah.
Can, we not be in front of my family? Maybe I don't want to make out with you in front of my family. Like, I mean, her expectations are just so high and unrealistic. And she wants to feel that crazy whirlwind fairy tale every single day, which I think is great. If that's like the relationship that you have, amazing.
Right.
I don't have that energy every day. I know you don't have that energy every day. The expectation's not there. The love is there. And that should be what's important. But for her, it's appearances, it's the big gestures, it's all of those things. And I just think that I'll never say, lower your expectations, because have whatever expectations you want. I think shoot for the stars. If you can find it,
really
good for you.
Man.
But I don't think it's realistic for her. And I think what happened with him is, he started to realize on the tell-all that she wasn't really over her ex-husband maybe so much. And he said, I could kind of understand that. And, I really like her, but let's wait till she's ready. In her mind, what I saw on TV is she heard rejection.
Yep.
Now I don't like you anymore. Or he doesn't, he's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
She's yelling at him about how he can't come and visit her right away. He has a job, He's got soccer games that he has to be at. He can't just skip those for a whirlwind romance and visit the U.S. for a couple weeks. So to me, that's just inconsiderate.
Yeah.
On her part. Oh. Why can't you wait until the season's over?
Yeah, just wait.
If it's really love, wait till the season's over.
Yeah, she's one of those people that, and I'm so glad that Miss Debbie called her out on her shit, man.
Oh, we had Miss Debbie and Mama Debbie this episode.
Fucking Mama Debbie, fuck her. But Miss Debbie, I love her because
I love her too.
She's super articulate, and she's
genuine.
She's genuine, and she's no nonsense. So she was selling.
She said, "You can't be out there showing your ass to the world.
You're bragging about no panties on." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" Her mom should be fucking telling her that shit.
Well, her mom came out and defended Chantel.
Yeah, she did.
She said, "We're sexy women.
Yeah, but
if we want to do that, we can do that."
Facts. But you can be sexy. I feel like it's for me to have to imagine whether or not you have panties is sexier than you telling me that you don't have panties on.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, why are you telling us that? Why do we need to know this?
How about you let me find out later?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're really, don't let the world find out later. I don't want to, and it just goes back to your value as a woman and as a person, right? Because everyone's values are different. And she was saying, and it's weird because I brought it up when we were watching, right? She, when Miss Debbie was kind of really reading her the riot act about that, Mrs. Debbie finished her thought with saying, "You're better than that. You're more valuable than that." And when she said that, Chantel was like, "Oh God, oh Lord!"
She rolled her eyes at Miss Debbie.
It's that should have been the first thing you pulled from it, and the thing that you put the most weight on, and she just really dismissed it immediately, which tells me that Chantel probably has a pretty low self-esteem, and she thinks of herself as less than,
Right. I think, maybe she's feeling, I don't know if she's always felt that way. Maybe it's after her divorce, she's feeling a certain way. I think, she really went balls to the wall with trying to be sexy and get herself back out there, and which I think is great if that's what makes you feel good after whenever, not even after a divorce, whenever you want to do it. But it feels a little forced, and I think that she's being seen through. Miss Debbie said, "You're better than that. You're worth more than that." But I will say her mom did agree with that part, so she kind of went back and forth with Miss Debbie until the end.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I know, she does. She is." So I was like, what is mom thinking? I don't know what she's doing. But Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot to unpack with her.
Yeah, it is. I don't
And
know.
I think she's just really insecure. And you could kind of see that all over her face.
Yeah, and she covers it up with this facade of, tight clothes, makeup, and all the overtly sexual things she says and how she describes herself. But, you can definitely tell. You can tell that there's some insecurity issues there, and hopefully she gets it figured out, because Pedro's over here living his best life. Like, you don't hear shit. If you follow Pedro on social media, he's living his best life. He's making money. He's a real estate agent. He's making money. He's
dating?
happy.
Is he dating?
He's dating. Yeah, for sure. He's dating.
Maybe she got wind of that,
Yeah, and so she's out there showing out because
she's thinking he'll see this and be so he'll be so sorry he let me go.
I know, right? I don't know why women think like that.
I don't know.
I don't get it. It's like, okay, you broke up with me. I see you're over there happy. I'm going to fuck a bunch of guys now. I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him. Okay.
You're like, great. Now I definitely don't want to sleep with you.
Jesus, man. She showed me. So we'll see. Speaking of Debbie, not to be confused with Mama Debbie, they had her and Caesar. They're from a couple previous episodes. Mama Debbie was up there with her son, Colt, and what was Colt's wife's name? She was Brazilian. She was crazy. She was fucking nuttier than bird shit.
They're
She was
all
crazy.
Colt gets on my nerves.
Oh, man. We can do a whole episode on his dumb ass. But she was on, and they usually do this to get, somebody's opinion that's not connected to any of these situations.
Well, I think she was there because Josh doesn't like her, right? I think that's the only reason she was there, because he said both times he's seen her on stage, he's referred to her as a dog in some way. Isn't her voice just like a dog whistle, and put a muzzle on her? I don't know what he said, but anyway, so I think that's the only reason that Debbie
oh man, I hate her guts. She's the worst, man. She's ratchet.
I think she's married.
Oh yeah, she had a ring on. That idiot
so
from
somebody married her
from Canada married her. Yeah, man, she's just like the worst. She comes out there and she just shit. She picks one or two people in particular to just shit on,
and she doesn't stop.
And she does not stop. And even her insults don't make sense. Like like she almost just want to argue for the sake of like just adding time onto her 15 minutes of fame.
For sure.
And God, but they love her. They eat that shit up. The production is like, let's get
because
Debbie
of people
up here.
like us. Because we watch the show and we go, I hate Debbie, but I'm going to keep watching because I hate her so much.
I hate Debbie. So we'll see. And then
Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar. Caesar's funny to me. Caesar like just loves Ukrainian women.
I want Caesar to do my nails and see what he's working with.
I think is he a nail tech or a hairdresser?
He's a nail tech.
Okay. And it's weird because he goes for. Yeah, he would bet.
Definitely likes pedicures.
That man loves the foot. He loves the foot, yo. I can see it in his eyes. I can see it in the way he dresses. He loves the foot.
The way he dresses.
Yeah, you can tell like how people
you dress like you like feet.
Do I? That man dresses like the Riddler. He loves the foot. So yeah, he's on it, and he loves Ukrainian women. And to my knowledge, I don't know if this is correct, but I don't think Ukrainian women really like black dudes like that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He hasn't had much luck.
And he only wants Ukrainian women.
But he is persistent.
Yes.
He won't stop till he succeeds.
Man, that's crazy.
I wish him the best.
Yeah, go get it. Go get it, Caesar.
That's right.
I mean, make sure they come here. Don't go over to Ukraine now.
Right.
Bring them here. That brings us to Vanessa and Tim. Vanessa and Tim. So, there's Vanessa, Tim, Jamal, and was Tim? Louisa. So
we had a little sneak peek of next episode with those two.
Louisa finally brought that shit out to the light. She was like, some friends think. She didn't want to say anything at first. Like, I have some friends that think maybe there's something going on with Tim. And he's like, what? What is it? What is it?
Just say it.
Just say it. They think he's gay. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Someone on this fucking show finally said it.
And nothing wrong with that, Tim. If Tim wants to be gay, if he is gay, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But
come out the closet.
You have an audience with open arms.
Yes.
Who will welcome you and applaud you.
We don't care, dude.
Truly.
But stop fronting. Stop fronting. Like, again, I've said it on the last episode. Tim is the only person that doesn't know that Tim's gay. Tim is wilding out. So he's dating Louisa, or was dating Louisa. His ex-girlfriend, who is now his best friend, Veronica, was dating Jamal.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like Veronica and Jamal are together right now.
Sounds like it's been over.
Yeah. So they split that up. And so now they brought Jamal and Louisa back on to kind of talk about how and unpack those two relationships. And Jamal and Tim didn't like each other from Jump Street. I can kind of see why. You know, even though this is your friend, and even though you are very feminine, you know, you're still a male, and there's still, you know, some.
You've had sex with my girlfriend at some point in your life, and you were married, right?
Men are territorial, right?
Right.
So let's call a spade a spade,
and there was no real like, hey, I'm Tim. You know, I know this is uncomfortable. I'm going to try to give you guys some space, but, you know, I'm in the kid's life. And, you know, whatever. There was no conversation to get on the same page. Right. I don't know how that would go over, but, you know, I think it could go a long way.
It would have been better than nothing for sure.
Acknowledge it. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, and then maybe we can move forward.
But do you think that's more his job or Veronica's job? Veronica?
Oh, probably Veronica.
Yeah.
I think she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Like I think she wants her cake and eat it too. She wants Tim to remain in her life, but wants whoever she dates to be okay. And the world just doesn't work like that. Yeah. It's not, you don't want to introduce more insecurity issues or potential insecurity issues into a relationship. So it's like be smart. Be smart. And Tim is going to have no problem staying on this show without you. That dude, he's on every season of every show. He does the tell-all.
Tim's
doing
just fine.
Tim will be okay. But I'm so glad that Louisa called him out on that shit. It's like he tried to find every reason not to touch me, not to be physical with me. And so, of course, anyway, and like Louisa's attractive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We all know it, you know. And Tim historically has been attracted to that like Colombian, like Hispanic dark featured women. Like every girl that he's ever had on the show was Hispanic or Latina in some capacity.
Well, and he talks about it all the time.
Yeah, so
that's his preference. My question is, does Tim strike you as the kind of person that ever is affectionate or anything? Like, he just really seems so blah. Yeah. I don't know how else to put it, but I just can't imagine him being silly and, you know, cuddly and affectionate and, like.
But that's a huge gray area between that and zero affection at all.
She had to force him to get a kiss after dinner.
He was coming up with some bullshit excuses.
I just had garlic.
Yeah,
she's like, I just had pork. Like, you know.
Did you brush your teeth? No, bitch, I was just with you. Yeah. We've been together the entire time.
The whole time. That was me at the table.
So yeah, I definitely foresee Tim and Bruno Mars coming out within the next 5 years.
Bruno Mars?
That's a different podcast for another day. No, I'm joking.
Can't
Bruno.
wait.
I love Bruno. Yeah. It's weird, and I think we're gonna find out a lot on this last episode of the Tell All about because you can tell that. I don't know. How do you react? How do you think Tim will react? Okay, let's just say Tim really is gay, but he still wants to keep it covered up. She exposes him. How do you foresee Tim reacting to that? Is he just gonna shrug it off, like, man, you know, whatever, or is he gonna get defensive?
How is she gonna expose him? You mean just saying it on the show?
Just saying it on the show, yeah.
I think he'll say, "That's crazy talk," you know, and then just kind of brush it off. I think if you go too far defending it, doesn't that seem suspicious?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So you got to play it cool, one way or the other.
Oh, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim. So it looks like that's how we're gonna start off. In next week's episode, we're gonna have maybe a proposal, And then they're going to pick up with Louisa just going hard at Tim. So we'll see what happens. Love the show, though. TLC.
Can't wait.
TLC does a great job at exploiting people.
Oh, for sure.
Dude, every show that they have is like the
Tyree,
worst
I heard you met a
version.
woman. And he's like, I don't know her name. They're like, well, we found her.
Yeah. I don't know her. This man is
Well,
like,
we do
I
know
don't
her name. And she's here.
Yeah. I was like, damn, TLC. But
Like, they
all
really
their
went
shows,
in.
it's like the worst version of those people. Every show is like 90 Day Fiance is the worst version of people trying to date from people from other countries. My 600-Pound Life is the biggest motherfuckers out there. Sister Wives and
I think all of these shows.
Intervention, Hoarders, like
Yeah.
all those shows are just like.
It's really just people struggling, to be really honest with you. Like, that's how I see it. It's just all these people in the worst moments of their lives. And we're like, yeah, I need more of that.
Yeah,
I need more
yeah.
of this to feel better about myself.
They're in the boardroom. TLC, they're like, hey, we found a lady. She has a 1,200 square foot house and it's packed with shit in newspapers.
Well, let's go clean it out.
Yeah. Can we get some cats in there? Can we add some dead cats and make it ahead?
Number one.
Yes.
Number one in the ratings.
Man.
Probably just from you and me viewing constantly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. On loop.
we'll keep you in business.
On loop. We will DVR that. Well, we're watching it right now. Still DVR it. Question of the day. My favorite.
right.
It quickly becoming my favorite part of the podcast. Question of the day. Today's question: is there a such thing as a healthy amount of jealousy in a relationship? Is there a way that a couple can interact and it'd be like, I guess, underlying jealousy or just
Give me an example.
glances of jealousy. So last night. So we were talking last night. I don't know how the conversation started, but I
think it was talking about Megan and John with the tracking on the phone.
yes,
and things
checking
like
on the
that.
phone. And I was like, in a very jovial way, I was like, babe, well, how come you're never jealous? Right? Just like that. And she was like, well, you really never give me a reason to be jealous. And, but it made me think, like, what level of jealousy might be okay? Like, even though that situation was, it was in jest, it wasn't serious. Is there a level of jealousy that comes from your partner that's easy to tolerate?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I guess an example would be like when you come home, like, where were you? What were you doing? You say you're going to be home at 9, it's 10. It's like something like that. I guess that's a very generalized example, but is that something that would annoy you, or would you be like, whatever, you know, and just kind of brush it off as something that's just like par for the course, you know?
Sure. My opinion is truly based on just experience. I know a lot of people that are in relationships that have that, you know, that fun, playful, little bit of jealousy or, you know, whatever type of relationship, and it works for them. For me, I find the jealousy to feel accusatory, but that's based on experience. So like we talked about taking things into relationships. I'm kind of like the exact opposite. I didn't take anything into the relationship that way because to me, it doesn't feel good, just based on experience. And the experience being like partners that were doing the things that I should have been maybe jealous of, dating other people, and me giving full trust, right? That person turns around and projects on you, and you're like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then you don't really know where the line is, you know? And so when they come home and they have that little pang of jealousy towards you, you're like, me? Why are you jealous of me?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so it's immediately accusatory. So that's a personal experience. I think it can be healthy if that's your relationship.
Yeah. Like, I guess it just depends where it comes from, right? If it comes from a place where I genuinely feel like you put yourself in a position, or you were in a place that I genuinely feel like you should have been home, or you should have not been there, or whatever. And for a person to be able to articulate that and it be okay to have that conversation in a relationship is good. It's good that you can talk about it, but
Sure.
if it comes from your own personal insecurity, just the thing that you have that you're holding on to for whatever reason, past relationships, it just might be like a character trait that you have. I think when you base that conversation off of that, then that's when it becomes an issue, because you're really not being rational in the first place. You're questioning someone's loyalty based on your lack of ability to understand where your insecurities begin and end, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when it becomes dangerous, because then that just turns into a snowball. You know, because most people, and it becomes an issue with people who are insecure, because most people take that situation and the punishment is going to fit the crime to them. So it's like, hey, she questioned or he questioned where I was. I know I wasn't doing anything wrong, so I'm going to answer this question accordingly. But then when you do that, you've shown that if I question you, you're going to answer the question. And so then that person who's insecure takes it a step further. Mm-hmm. It might turn into wanting to check your emails or looking at your computer while you're not there, or it might turn into wanting to have you track your phone, you have your location, follow you to work, follow you, whatever.
Do you follow me to work?
Yeah, no. But I was in a situation to where, and this was years ago, that I opened my front door, and the person I was dating, they were like driving around the corner, and I was like,
you caught her.
And I caught her like driving past the house, and I was like, and I called her and went right to voice. I was like, did you just drive in front of my house? And she had personalized plates, so it was real hard for it not to be her.
It said Felicia.
It's like somebody stole your car. So I see how it can, I'm not sure if healthy is the right word to use, but I do think there's a level of jealousy and like a feeling of having like some sort of territory there that could be tolerable.
I think there's different things too, right? If I'm late, and we've done this to each other, I thought you were going to be home already. Mm-hmm. I thought you would have been home by now, or you stayed out a little longer than I thought. We've done that. And that's really the way I take that is, I'm just curious, because you said 9, it's 10, you didn't text me or whatever, give me a heads up, it's late. But then there's also, say we're out and I see you at, I walk away, I see you back at the bar and a girl's talking to you. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make me jealous, but if it makes you feel good for me to say, ooh, who's that? Like I think that's totally fine, as long as we know that it's playful and that it's all in fun, So I think there's different levels to it. And then there's obviously the extreme jealousy, which is not what we're talking about, right. the healthy part of jealousy. So I just think there's different levels of it maybe, and there's different types of jealousy. And I think you just have to come to an agreement within your relationship on where are your boundaries. Yeah. Does that feel good or does it not feel
right.
good? And if it doesn't feel good, then if it's not fun for both of you, then it shouldn't be fun for either of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think some people feel that if a person doesn't at least have a little bit of jealousy, then they don't care, so, and some people do feel that way. It's not, and I think.
And let's be clear. If I saw you at the bar with your arms around another woman, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So, or if I saw somebody touching you and you weren't stopping them, mm-hmm. Sure. But you just don't put me in that situation. So no, those feelings aren't there presently.
Yeah. Watch out.
They could be. But you just don't put us in that situation. Yeah. So for me, it's more important to feel the freedom of what we have mm-hmm. than to be like, well, it's fun, isn't it? Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. This feels good to me now.
Yeah. And yeah, it does. Damn sure it does. Yeah. And I think it just comes down to being able to understand when those feelings come up, because a lot of times those feelings are fleeting anyway, those feelings of jealousy. Sure. So like your ability to internalize those feelings when they do come and say, okay, is this genuinely a situation to where he's or she's making me feel jealous, or do I have insecurity issues and that's why I feel the way I do? And then, you have to be able to self-correct too.
I think the question too is, are you doing things to make your partner jealous because you want them to feel that?
Yeah.
That to me I don't think that's something that I would appreciate. I don't think you would either.
No, 100%.
Let me go flirt with this person just to get you riled up.
Yeah.
Let me, I don't know,
because
text with somebody to make you jealous, or stay out a little late to make you worry. Those things feel toxic to me as well.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't consider myself a jealous person, but I do consider myself like a territorial person for a lot of different reasons. I definitely, what you're saying, I would, is appreciated that neither one of us put our relationship in a position where we even have to question whether, or even have to be territorial, really, for the most part. So, I think it all comes down to the people in a relationship and how they want the relationship to work out. Like that, all those things are controllable. Like the way that we interpret for certain feelings, the way that the other person their power over us to make us feel a certain way, all those things are controllable. So
yeah, I just don't think it serves us in this relationship, to have that drama and to kind of thrive on it. Some people love it.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Some people love that drama, dude. They love it. Yeah.
Maybe it keeps it exciting for them. I don't know. I would rather be watching 90 Day Fiancé with you on the couch every night. That's where I'm at.
For sure, babe. Just to recap, we are going to be patiently waiting for next week's episode of the tell-all of 90 Day Fiancé, The Single Life. It is the tell-all, so that means there is a new season of something come. Oh no, it already started. Happily Ever After ? Has already started. So after the tell-all, we'll focus our attention to that, and we'll talk shit about those couples on that show.
Lovingly, of course.
Would you? So you can find me, Antoine the Juggernaut, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Do you even want them to know where they can find you?
That's fine. Yeah.
You can find her on Instagram as well as Mrs. Jamie Britt. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. It's a very cool picture of me on her profile, as it should be.
Yeah, come to my page to look at him.
As it should be. I'm just joking. Please like and subscribe. Little click for you, big click for us. We really appreciate it. Download 5-star reviews on all of your audio services: iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And I hope you're enjoying the show, because we enjoy bringing it to you. Brittany should be back next week, so it'll be a regularly scheduled program. I'm hungry, so I think me and the wife are going to go get some food.
Get some appetizers.
Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
This was fun.
It definitely makes the podcast go by a lot faster when you look across the mic and see your wife glaring at you. So,
lovingly.
On behalf of Jamie and myself, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Hold Your Applause Podcast. We will see you next week. Peace.
Bye.